Hello, everybody. I hope all of y'all are having a good day today. Um, I've said many times on here that it, everything starts at Jeremiah 8:8, the lying pen of the scribes. Okay, that is what you have to remember every time you're reading the Old Testament. Anytime you see in there about this vengeful, psychopathic God and things like that, remember the lying pen of the scribes, because God is love and in him is no darkness. The Israelites, through the God breathed scriptures, the Torah, the prophets, and the Psalms, they had managed to manipulate and alter the scriptures, and by doing so, they created God in their image instead of in the image of God, okay? This is why they had the law was given to them on tablets of stone, because they had stone hearts. They hadn't had the transformation of the heart yet. Moses raised up the brass serpent in the desert for all those people who had been snake bit, all right? Since the garden, they got snake bit by the serpent, all right? The snake venom was cured by Christ being raised up, ascended, higher level of consciousness, okay? That's why you have to look at this. And whenever you encounter God, you encounter love. So the anti-venom is love. It always has been. Love conquers all. Your carnal mind is the snake, and you have to have the transformation of the mind, all right? And that word in Greek about the transformation of the mind actually means transfigured, the same thing that happened to Jesus, all right, whenever he was there with Moses and Elijah. If you'll remember, later on in Luke, Jesus says, I saw Satan fall like lightning from the heights. See, the law of Moses was the Satan, the accuser, because that's what the law was. It accused people. After Jesus transfigured, all right, went to that higher state of consciousness, Satan got cast out. He saw Satan cast out like lightning from the heights, all right? Just like, remember, in the Old Testament, Satan, God said, where'd you come from? And he said, I've been going back and forth to and from the earth, all right? Well, once you hit that higher level of consciousness, Satan is cast out. For years now, I've been hammering and hammering and hammering on people that love. Love is the only thing that matters. And the way this world is designed is to keep you focused on everything but love, all right? In the next few weeks, months, and probably even year to come, you're gonna start seeing some things about this DDP thing. I wanna say it backwards so the algorithm doesn't do something. You're gonna see some people that most of the world has idolized. You're gonna see some people that you thought were untouchable that are gonna be getting thrown under the bus, okay? People that before were always protected and wouldn't get in trouble. You're gonna hear some of the most outrageous, detestable things coming out. And what it's designed to do is to enrage you, to outrage you. The world elites know that the Great Awakening is coming, and they are trying everything in the world to slow it down. I think they've come to the conclusion that they can't stop it, but they're throwing everything at us, even the kitchen sink. They got to keep you vibrating low, and what they're preparing for is we're having a great awakening, a great harvest, and this is duality. They are preparing for their harvest, and what they're doing is harvesting your negative energy. If you can they can keep you focused on division, hate, anger, and all this stuff, then you're valuable to them, and they're harvesting, they're living off of you, all right? And you become what you eat. if you're eating all this stuff, looking at it every day, you're obsessed with who did this and who did that, then you are what you eat. Instead of focusing on love, you become focused on hate, all right? In the story in Genesis, whenever Jacob wrestles with God and man, that word in Hebrew there for man is not the Adam. It's actually a word that means a sick, incurable man that is bloodthirsty, all right? And it also means a mortal man. I think it's written that what can humans do to, what can mere mortals do to me? And I think it was Paul that wrote, why are you acting like humans? You know, because those who are called are something else. We're not from this place, okay? I believe once, the people that have been called, once they are transfigured, they're transformed, they reach that higher state of consciousness, that all of those layers that we've been layered with since birth have been peeled off, and it reveals our true self underneath. That we're different from the rest of the world, okay? You can't stay up on the high ground if you're always looking down here at the low ground, if you're vibrating low. All of us, especially in the West, we have been programmed since birth. I think one of I think it's Universal Studios is celebrating 100 years of making movies, okay? Think about that, 100 years televisions have been around, movies and theaters have been around. And we have been programmed that the good guy always wins, and whenever he wins, he brutally murders the bad guy. I mean, it's like the more vengeance he gets and the more brutal he is and the things he says to the villain, the more we cheer. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Jesus taught to pray for your enemies, love your enemies, okay? They even have preachers nowadays behind the pulpit preaching damnation, hellfire, and all these things, okay? Keeping people in fear instead of talking about love. You don't hardly hear any preachers behind the pulpit sharing a personal testimony of how God's love changed them. They're not beloveds. They're just people that made a career choice. They're just like the rest of the world. They're vibrating low, and they're going to keep you vibrating low. You have to transcend that. My old channel, before it got hacked, I had close to 3,000 subscribers. And back in the very beginning, I wasn't seeing things spiritual. The veil hadn't been totally lifted for me yet. And in a way, I spoke carnally. And I had thousands of views on my videos. And the more God was patient with me and had me go full circle, okay, and I come back to love, which was what saved me. And the more I started speaking of spiritual things and about love, those views started going down, 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 and the subscribers started going down. People want carnal things. They want to hear the Hollywood God. People love bad news. They love negative news. I think it was Don Henley that had a song that give us dirty laundry. People love that kind of stuff. Most people hate to hear love conquers all right? They want to see these people that you're going to hear about here pretty soon who are guilty of doing all these heinous, horrible things. You're going to hear all these people. They're going to want blood. They're going to be bloodthirsty. Hang them, kill them all. That's what you're going to hear. Now, I'm not saying that what they've done is right, okay? I'm not going to say that at all. It was very wrong. But they want you vibrating low, and they want you to be living in unforgiveness. Remember, we're supposed to pray for our enemies and love our enemies, not wish them harm. You see, in the Old Testament, their prophets were telling them good things, sweet things, and that according to their pen, that was not what God wanted, all right? That he was wanting to put the fear of God in them. See, when Jesus came around, they were expecting a They were expecting a conquering king, somebody that was the good guy. He was going to come in and mutilate all their enemies, especially Rome, because they were under the thumb of Rome. And whenever Jesus came in and he was talking about love, 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 they were like, we got to kill him. Release Barabbas, let the killer out, put the pacifist behind bars, or crucify the pacifist. Jesus, in the end, even hanging there on the cross, watching people mock him, scoff at him, and curse at him. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. See, the Israelites, they wanted a conquering king, and they looked at everything outside of themselves. Everything out there is the enemy. We got to destroy all that bad stuff out there. Whenever their true enemy, I just did a video about this the other day, about when I was in a coma and I encountered the dark man. The real enemy, the true enemy, has always been the dark man within them. And they never wanted to look within themselves, because when they would look within themselves, it would be revealed to them their stony hearts. And they couldn't imagine being the bad guy. I saw a video clip the other day of a man. He was before the judge, and the judge was naming out all these things that he was accused of, and he was guilty of them. And he was losing his mind in there to hear the things he was accused of, because even though he knew it was true, he couldn't stand to hear it out loud. All right? People don't want to look within themselves because they don't want to see what they know is true. All right? That they need a Savior, that they need love. I love you all. God bless.